I want to start this video off right now by getting your blood boiling. So here is a video of Democrats calling for our United States military men to maybe not quite exactly, but essentially commit treason.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community
who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical.
Is your blood boiling yet like mine is? Because I am sick and tired of seeing like this happen and nothing be done about it, which is why I'm making this video to say the Trump DOJ, Department of Justice, is failing miserably. And I have a lot of topics to discuss today that shows just how bad they're failing. There's been zero major arrests, nothing is getting done, there's no transparency, none of it. And I gotta be honest with you, I hope Democrats keep doing this, because I am so far past the point of spite and frustration now that I just hope the Democrats get away with it. I really do. I'm borderline team Democrat when it comes to these strategies because they work and they do it all the time and they never get checked for it and there's no real consequences for it. So why would they not do stuff like this? Why would they stop doing stuff like this? It's incredible strategy, and they prey and take advantage on weak Republicans who do nothing. So good. Keep doing it, Democrats. It's a superior party. They want to win, while Republicans are content to just not lose. Republicans are content to do just the bare minimum. Republicans want to play off of principle, and they want to play off of some moral code that they've invented for themselves to follow, that Democrats don't follow. And they wonder why the youth demographic has completely abandoned them at this point. Trump's approval with the youth is down something like, 40, 50 points since March? He was more popular than ever with the youth in the first 2 months. DOJ, anti-establishment practices, following through on campaign promises. But quickly, the youth has abandoned the conservative party for good reason. They're a bunch of limp dick pussies who do all while they have complete control. And we're talking judicial control. We're talking control of the Senate, the Congress, the executive branch. All of it. Nothing's gotten done, and now the Trump Department of Justice has just been revealed to be a complete phony fake. No transparency, they don't care. Kash Patel's dropping the ball, and Tucker Carlson has pointed it out, because that's what I want to talk about next. This Tucker Carlson video, a bombshell video about Thomas Matthew Crooks, the guy who tried to kill President Trump. We know nothing about the guy to this day, despite the fact that the Trump DOJ is now in the hands of conservatives under Kash Patel's FBI leadership. And Tucker Carlson decided, I'm going to point some stuff out here because the FBI certainly isn't doing it.
Why is the FBI keeping Crooks' views a secret? Why are they ignoring congressional subpoenas to divulge information?
Who is Thomas Crooks? That's the question Americans have wanted to know for a year and a half now, at least the conservatives. Liberals obviously don't give a because they're soulless and amoral and they think the whole thing was staged. Bunch of nut jobs. But when it comes to who is Thomas Crooks, we know nothing. And it took Tucker Carlson. You should go watch this video. It is 36 minutes of incredible, eye-opening, and fact-revealing statements that will give you much better insight on who Thomas Crooks was than the FBI ever did. For instance, articles are now picking up and doing research of their own based off of this Tucker Carlson video. We have this article right here. The FBI lied. Tucker Carlson says agency doesn't want us to know about Trump gunmen. This was printed on November 14th, 2025. Political commentator Tucker Carlson said he thinks certain members of the Trump administration are covering up crucial facts about the 20-year-old shooter who nearly killed the president last summer. Carlson is saying something just doesn't add up. He is questioning why the FBI said Crooks had no online footprint, because he claims Crook left a detailed digital trail of violent threats, including calls for assassination and political violence. Tucker says Crooks came within a quarter inch of destroying this country, and yet a year and a half later, we still know almost nothing about him or why he did it. Carlson then goes on to say that's because for some reason the FBI, even the current FBI, doesn't want us to know. This article is another interesting one right here. The Trump shooter Thomas Crooks' disturbing trans furry fantasies revealed. Wow. Why are we just finding out about this now? Trump's would-be assassin appears to have used they-them pronouns on a website known for hosting furry material. The accounts linked to Crooks used they-them pronouns used by the transgender community, and his activity suggested an interest in cartoon characters with ripped male physiques and female heads. Prior to Tucker's reporting, very little was known about Crooks, to the extent that the FBI was accused of a cover-up, which has fueled various conspiracy theories, including that the shooter may have been backed by a foreign government. Among the most stunning aspects of the latest reporting is that the shooter was in contact with a Norwegian national who is allegedly part of a neo-Nazi terrorist organization. The FBI's official narrative is that Crooks acted alone in the assassination attempt with no evidence of co-conspirators or foreign direction. During the final phase in 2020 of Crooks' YouTube commenting, the shooter began interacting with a suspicious user, Willie Tepps, who appeared to encourage Crooks to commit political violence. He wrote to Crooks on August 4th, 2020, "If a gun and a badge is all that is needed, then authority obviously comes from the barrel of a gun. We have more rights than they do. There is no way we can avoid a war at this point, so you just better get used to the idea," Tepps told Crooks. Tucker Carlson claims that Willie Tepps' name is listed on a foreign Antifa website connecting him to the Nordic Resistant Movement, based in Scandinavia, which has been designated a terrorist organization by the State Department. Yet the FBI hasn't made any mention of him in public, although they certainly know he exists. Do you see the problem here? This again comes down to accountability versus responsibility. What we're dealing with here with this FBI transparency, the initial handling of this Thomas Crooks assassination attempt is Biden's fault. This was Biden's FBI, and they're to blame, and they handled it poorly, and they did a lot of suspicious stuff, like scrubbing all of the DNA off the rooftop where it took place within 72 hours. They also handled everything in the most shady way possible. It was the Biden FBI that originally said there was no online footprint, but the problem is, that was a year and a half ago. This is Trump's DOJ now, and this current FBI is still giving us jack when it comes to information on any of this.
Of the New York Post, building on Tucker's report last week, showing Matthew Crooks had 17 online accounts on sites like YouTube and Snapchat and Discord. Surprisingly, 5 years before the shooting, he was praising Donald Trump, calling the president the literal definition of patriotism. He wrote threats, but not aimed at Trump. Look at this, "Murder the Democrats," he said in December 2019. A few months later, he wrote this, "I hope a quick, painful death to all the deplorable immigrants and anti-Trump congresswomen who don't deserve anything this country has given them." But in 2020, something changed. He set his sights on Trump. He started calling the president racist and stupid. He hated Trump and his voters. Look at this. How can you people call others sheep, but you are too brainwashed to realize how dumb you are? I mean, literally, you guys sound like a cult at times. By the summer, he became even more unhinged. Look at this. The only way to fight the government is with terrorism-style attacks. Sneak a bomb into an essential building and set it off before anyone sees you. Track down any important people, politicians, military leaders, and try to assassinate them. Crooks also had a trans connection, like alleged Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson. Crooks appears to have been interested in furries and exploring gender identity. He described himself with the pronouns they, them.
And speaking of Tyler Robinson, it appears there could have been a connection between the two of these guys frequenting the same Discord servers, radicalized Discord servers, which begs the question, did these two people know of each other? Did they interact with each other? Did they message each other? And if they were interacting with each other, or at least in the same Discord servers, who else was in those servers? How organized was this? Why were both these guys on the phone just moments before committing the deeds that they committed? What's going on here? And is there a larger plot to all of this? And these are the kind of questions that arise, rightfully so, because the FBI is not transparent. I mean, this is ultimately what they want you to believe. It was a 20-year-old lone gunman with absolutely no social media footprint. I mean, do they think we're retards and stupid? What 20-year-old has no online social media footprint? Show me any kid who's not on social media. Literally everyone's on social media. Literally everyone. Boomers are on social media. You expect me to believe a 20-year-old who grew up knowing nothing else but Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, Threads? You expect me to believe they've stayed off social media their whole life, had no footprint online, and then just decided one day to take up arms and assassinate people? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And the FBI knows they have a credibility problem now, so take a look at this pathetic ploy. Much like the Rapid Response 47 page, they've now decided, the FBI, to copy that, though, with what I can only describe as the ultimate form of FBI propaganda. This, of course, was just created the other day, coincidentally, after Tucker Carlson decided to expose them. FBI Rapid Response. Let's scroll down here. Take a look at the first post on this page, then the second and third one, and you'll find it very enlightening why they've created this page. The first one, under Director Patel, Deputy Director Bongino, and Co-Deputy Bailey, your FBI is in a new era, one where we communicate more than any FBI ever before, and more directly with the American people about the important work we're doing. But that's only a piece of what we're doing. Our team continues to face an avalanche of lies, smears, and falsehoods from the fake news and others seeking to undermine our work in national security. Okay, so let's see what this page identifies then as a threat to that. Here's their first real post. Oh, look at this. They're retweeting Dan Bongino, who's calling out Congressman Thomas Massie for asking questions about the January 6th pipe bomb lady. And in case you're out of the loop on that, here's the tweet from Thomas Massie alerting everyone to the fact that he's looking into this pipe bomb lady who many suspect is an actual government agent in disguise. He puts this out. I received this troubling letter today from the attorney representing the most recent FBI whistleblower regarding the January 6th pipe bomb investigation. Just a reminder to FBI Director Kash Patel, in case this letter is warranted, federal law prevents retaliation against whistleblowers. And so the very first post from FBI Rapid Response is to address this, of all things. But then look at the next post that they make on this page. Surprise, surprise. They're calling out Tucker Carlson and his tweet that he put out just before releasing the bombshell on Thomas Matthew Crooks. Tucker Carlson stated, the FBI told us Thomas Crooks tried to kill Donald Trump last summer, but somehow had no online footprint. The FBI lied, and we can prove it because we have his posts. The question is why? Story tomorrow. So FBI Rapid Response page quote tweeted this and said, this FBI has never said Thomas Crook had no online footprint ever. Of course, this statement from FBI Rapid Response was community noted. Readers added context stating, in a July 30th, 2024 Senate hearing, the FBI director disclosed a social media account believed to be associated with the shooter. He then went on to describe a general absence of other information to date from social media. It then cites the YouTube video and the timestamps where you can find this. And again, this was Biden's DOJ and FBI, but it nevertheless proves the point because what they're quote tweeting here is they're saying this FBI has never said Thomas Crooks had no online footprint ever. Yeah, you never went out and made a statement saying that he had no online footprint, but this FBI, Trump's DOJ FBI, also hasn't been useful to the American public, hasn't made any statement saying, oh, wow, look at this. Biden's FBI got this completely wrong. Here's the truth, guys. This FBI hasn't done any of that. They've been complacent, possibly complicit on a cover-up when it comes to Thomas Matthew Crooks. You haven't been out there in the forefront discussing this stuff. You've covered up all of this. So, of course, the day Tucker releases this bombshell on Thomas Matthew Crooks, then we get a tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel. The Crooks case overview. Over 480 FBI employees were involved in the Thomas Crooks investigation. Employees conducted over 1,000 interviews, addressed over 2,000 public tips, analyzed data extracted from 13 seized digital devices, reviewed nearly 500,000 digital files collected, processed, and synchronized, hundreds of hours of video footage, analyzed financial activity from 10 different accounts, and examined data associated with 25 social media or online forum accounts. The FBI's investigation into Thomas Crooks identified an examined over 20 online accounts, data extracted from over a dozen electronic devices, examination of numerous financial accounts, and over 1,000 interviews and 2,000 public tips. The investigation conducted by over 480 FBI agents revealed Crooks had limited online and in-person interactions, planned and conducted the attack alone, and did not leak or share his intent to engage in the attack with anyone. You can then scroll down and see the top comment on this, which is hilarious and likely true. Thank you for this information, Tucker. And that's really what this is. Too little, too late, Kash Patel. Dropping the ball as always now. This is just what we've come to expect out of him. A major disappointment. The guy talks a great game. I mean, for years, we listened to this guy speak like a savage, telling us all what his plans would be if he ever became director of the FBI. Has he lived up to any of that? No. In fact, he's been a complete letdown, and I'm going to show you this next because Kash Patel reveals himself to be pretty much a complete incompetent. This was Thomas Massie again, grilling Kash Patel on the Epstein files. Another thing that they just completely have dropped the ball on when it comes to American expectations.
Director Patel, I watched some of your Senate hearing yesterday when Senator Kennedy asked you, you've seen most of the files, who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these women to besides himself? You replied, according to the transcript, there is no credible information that he trafficked them to anyone else. You also said somewhere in the hearing and here today that the problem is that the case files are constrained by limited search warrants from 2006 to 2007 and that the non-prosecution agreement hamstrung future investigations. Those constraints only apply to Southern District of Florida. They do not apply to Southern District of New York, the location of the 2019 sex trafficking indictment, which produced many things, including a series of FD 302 documents. According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation, these documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, including Mr. Jess Staley, CEO of Barclays Bank, who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked victims to. That list also includes at least 19 other individuals. I don't know exactly who they are, but the FBI does. Have you launched any investigations into any of these people, and have you seen these 302 documents?
Sir, I have asked my FBI agents to review the entirety of the Epstein files and bring forth any credible information. There have been no new materials brought to me launching a new indictment. Is it your assertion that these victims aren't credible, that the 302s maybe didn't produce credible statements that rise to a probable cause? It's not my assertion, sir. It's the assertion of two different United States attorneys' offices from three separate administrations who investigated those same materials in lifetime. And so have you reviewed those 302 documents that where the victims name the people who victimized them? If I personally know, but the FBI has.
This should infuriate you if you know anything about Kash Patel's background, because like I said, he spent years talking about what he would do if he became director, and he hyper-focused on the Epstein files, insisting to all of us that he knew it was a cover-up, and insisting to all of us that he personally would follow through on uncovering all of it for us. Yet here he is in front of Thomas Massie admitting, I haven't reviewed some of those files you're mentioning. No, I've had some of my agents do it, though. So now that he's the director of the FBI, he can't even be bothered, apparently. He's just tossed that down. That's just work that I've delegated to other lesser FBI agents who will probably never uncover anything or get back to me on it. I truly originally thought that Pam Bondi was going to be the bottleneck of the Trump DOJ, but it turns out that Kash Patel is right up there with her, and together they're working to ensure that the American public never sees justice dealt. They're working to ensure the American public stays out of the loop and that everything's covered up nice and neatly in a tight bow. And maybe President Trump is finally starting to figure that out, because this is a legitimate Truth Social quote post from him. Somebody posted this meme of Pam Bondi being screamed at, for the love of God, just arrest somebody. The brutal honesty, my brutal opinion on all of this, Trump needs to fire Bondi and he needs to fire Kash Patel. It's the only hope we have for true justice. I am sick and tired of weak, spineless Republican inaction, playing nice, throwing softballs, doing absolutely all when they have all the power in the world. It really pisses me off. Let me know if you share that sentiment with me in the comments down below, and thanks so much for watching.